Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching my videos. I'm just trying to figure out why, if this is working. Yeah, we are live. Thank you. And today is a great day to be in any physical commodity. And I'm here joined with Inti, and we're going to show you how great it is to be in all these physical commodities. And even non-physical commodities such as Bitcoin and crypto and Ethereum and so forth, and cryptocurrencies. But man, oh man, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about Ethereum. We're going to be talking about gold. We're going to talk about silver, and we're going to just see the opposite side of this trade, which is the dollar index, in the next little while. So we're going to take a look at those things and see what we can see and what should we do. And what can we prepare for in the coming weeks and months ahead? It's going to be an interesting show. I love the questions that you guys ask in the chat group. Inti's going to be checking in the chat group for all those questions. And he's got one final words to say before we get on to the TA for today.
Yes, sir. As always, people, it's worth to remind you that this video is for entertainment purposes only, and this is not a financial advice. Please do your own research before putting any of your hard-earned money on the market. Back to you, Dav.
All right, so I'm sure everyone here has been looking at their portfolio and their overall portfolio and been seeing a very substantial rise lately. And yeah, thanks. Most of us here are Bitcoiners, and we're seeing that this big rise here. Bitcoin has finally broken out. We are a little scared here. We are a little nervous with those Bitcoiners out there because of the CME futures. If we look at the futures, and I'm trying to figure out where is it. There it is. Right, we've got like a gap the size of an airplane. Right. that's below the market here, so it's giving everybody a lot of pause because we've all seen these gaps fill sooner rather than later, and if they do go longer, right, that means if Bitcoin decides to go higher, that means we have to come back here. And you know what, honestly, not going to be surprised if we decide to go higher all the way to 12,000 and then come back here to screw people over just one last time at the 9666 level is where we're probably going to come back and retest and reclose this gap approximately. All right. With that sad note said, and I know you don't want to see Bitcoin ever come back, ever, never ever, and yeah, keep in mind, right? There's no reason, even though this gap, right, normally gets filled, there is a percentage chance that it never gets filled, right? Because gaps don't always have to get filled on the way up, right? Especially since we're dealing with a fiat currency which is being printed into oblivion. It's not a 100% certainty that this gap gets filled. Just high probability, right? So consider that. Especially since this is a cash settled market, and the market loves to if there's a bunch of people down here, right, waiting for a buy order, like they're lined up their buy orders, and they do that on the on the spot market. What tends to happen is the market attracts to all that liquidity because it's looking for liquidity, and so somebody who wants to sell, right, and they've been a bag holder and they're watching the price come down, they know that they can actually sell down here because there's lots and lots of liquidity to give them a sell order down here, so they can push the market all the way down to clean it up and say, okay, you know what? Even though, let's just say you have like bags and bags of Bitcoin, right? And you can't, if you sell it, right, you're going to push the price down. But what you know for sure, on an average basis, you're going to get all your coins, your sell orders filled to the point where, hey, you know what, I'll be stopped. I will be stopped right here. And so on an average basis, maybe my average sell will be like 10,500 or something like that. And you might be okay with that. So that's why these gaps tend to get filled, right? When on a regular basis, is because somebody realizes that, hey, I want to sell into this market, and I know there's going to be slippage. I'm willing to accept that. And hey, you know what? My average price, even though I moved the price down to 9,600, my average price sell order will be 10,500 or something like that. And so that's what causes gaps to get filled. Okay. But it doesn't have to, right? Of course. Now, let's take a look at where we could go, right? I've talked about this on Crypto Show, but I'm not sure if everybody watches, so I'm going to mention it. We got an AB equals CD, which, tops out right about here at the 15,200 level. I don't expect it to go straight there, but because, expect the unexpected with Bitcoin, I wouldn't be surprised if it does that. And it never comes back to the 9,600 level until, liquidity is needed to get that person filled. And it might come back after the 15K to really spook people, because that would really piss a lot of people off if we get to 15,000 and then roll over, and they have to accept that that's a possibility. Could even go to like 17,000, 16,000 first, and then roll over and come all the way back, just to really piss off the bulls, and to say and to get Peter Schiff dancing in the streets again, right? We need to get him dancing. It's going to zero, right? We're going to see that. I wouldn't be surprised if we come all the way back. But I think in reality, 12,000, approximately around 12,000, is where we will see the reversal back to 9,600. No guarantees from the management, right? But that's a possibility. Just want you to be sure about that. Looking at the daily, at the lower time frames, but let's go to daily first. And I have like a crazy trade here, right? We were trying to see if we can get in at the 966 sooner rather than later. I was hoping that maybe we wick down quickly before we go up, but we didn't do that. So we are outside the Bollinger Band, which doesn't mean anything yet. Could mean because we could continue going higher just because we're outside the Bollinger Band for this whole wick, this whole candle body is outside the Bollinger Band. It doesn't mean that it can't go higher, right? Just keep that in mind. Even though the market stays outside of the band, only in less than 5% of the time, and it stays inside the band 95% of the time, it doesn't mean that this can't go any higher. So don't be trying to look for shorts just yet on this thing. Although looking at the smaller time frame, right, things don't look so hot. Let's just take a look at the hourly first before we say anything. I know on the really short time frame, things don't look so good. But let's take a look and see if we have any kind of divergence. No, we don't. The hourly does not have a divergence. That's a good sign. That means you should buy any pullbacks because we still have some more room to rise. 4 hour. The RSI looks fine. There is maybe a little bit of a divergence there. Yeah, there is a little bit of a divergence, but if it peaks its nose a little bit higher, closes another 4 hour candle a little bit higher, I think that will nullify the possible divergence being confirmed. Let's take a look at the MACD. The MACD says no, so at all, not going to happen. Don't even count. Don't even think about it. Ignore that the RSI divergence because we're going higher. So yeah, going down to the 5 minute, of course. 5 minute looks like, oh, we're finished here. Where do you think we're going? Right? We stopped. Somebody stopped us here. Stopped the market. Says no more up. Stop the market. No more up. Stop the market again. No more up. And we dumped. We came back, and there they stopped the market again. So, does the sellers at the $10,350 range, are they serious? Are you serious? You're gonna stop us here? You serious? Right? That's the question buyers are going to ask, and they're going to test them, keep testing, and if they, then according to the RSI and to the MACD, they're going to continue testing these sellers, and probably break through the 10,500 mark. Probably even closing out the day today at above that mark today, which will only lead to more buying pressure going higher if we do finally break that $10,500 mark and close above it for the day. So yeah, that would be a great thing, but keep in mind anything can happen. The buyers could run out of steam, and they could go, oh, so you want to sell? All right, and they'll go and move their buy orders all the way back down to 9,600, right? And say, come on, let's sell. Sell right here. I'm rating right here at the 9,000, maybe the 9,800, right? And so yeah, that could always be the case. So if you want to try to run this market and see if it runs higher, where would your stops be? I would say your stops should be right about here, for sure. If this thing wants to hold, it's got to hold that $10,138 level to say we're going even higher. You can see that we've moved, pushed higher. We come back, retest this level, this breakout level here, where we decided to break this level here and go higher. And so it's got to hold this level to really keep the momentum going. Hold the 10,138 level to really keep the momentum going. Okay. The next question, next thing. Let's see here. I just realized that Inti's mic. Hopefully my mic is good because I moved the position of the mic. You guys can hear me out there, right? There's no complaints. Inti, is everything okay?
Sounds good for you.
Okay, so I just noticed your mic is not on, and that's annoying. Oh wait, now it just came back. That's weird. No, that's not. Okay, that's my mic, not yours. There we go. There, that's your mic right now. Say something, Inti. Yeah, that's good enough. Alrighty. Alright, so next, let's go on to Ethereum. Ethereum has it's just ridiculously oversold. But it looks like it has a little bit of, if we, I know this is a dog's breakfast. Sorry, people. Sorry. Dog's breakfast. Right? There's a lot going on here. Let me just clear this up here. Let me see here. I'm going to get rid of anything that might confuse you guys a little bit. Right. Let's see here. I'm going to get rid of this AB equals CD, which projects that AB equals CD projects the $8,387 is the level target. But we've gone too far. This is called too far, too fast. And I'm not saying that it can't go a little bit more higher, because you can see this trend line, right? You can see where we've bounced off of this trend line multiple times. About another bounce, right, could mean that, hey, we can go a little bit higher today before we actually start to roll over. And unfortunately, I wanted to short the snot out of this thing, and I'm trying to find an entry, and it looks like it's going to have to be a little bit higher, this entry, to get something off on here. Only because this trend line's way up here, and it makes sense that we push a little higher if Bitcoin pushes higher as well. Going down to the shorter time frame, right? You can see. Let's go down to. I wonder if I created that trend channel. Here we go. There it is. On the hourly, there's a trend channel here, which we went back to the center line of the trend channel, and we haven't really tested the bottom yet in a long while. So I think the bottom might get broken the next time we test it. So I would consider being careful on taking any buy orders to run this thing. If you look back on the daily, right, where this is, let me just bring me back to the daily for a second. That red line, that's a very important line. That is the bottom of the trend, the bottom of the of this trend line here, which it kept. I thought it was gonna die when it broke the other side, and it came back, and then it came back with a vengeance and decided, hey, you know what, I'm going sky high here, and so it could come all the way back from the nosebleed section, all the way back to the $2,280, $280, anywhere here, around here, and yeah, so you have to like, you know, cool your jets when you want to take a long on this thing, because yeah, even though we can go all the way to $400 or close to it, cool your jets a little bit. There's a lot of risk here, a lot of risk buying up here on a leverage position. If you're buying for the long haul, right, you're going to be paying a premium up here, so I wouldn't do it. Again, there's lots of things you can do. If you want to buy directly, cash, not trade this thing, you can say, okay, well, you know what, this move is like a little bit overextended, and look where the 50% level is, right? To 280. If you feel, well, I don't know if I want to wait till the 280 Davinci, I want to get in a little bit earlier than that, so you can wait for the 38.2 pullback. That's a definite possibility. And even though we might have to go a little bit higher, right, before we actually do the pullback, maybe go set the 280 level to the fibs. We go all the way up to the 360 level in a massive blow off top today, which is all possible. And then we set the 61.8 at that level. You can come back in at the 310 before you buy. But again, that would be still pretty high. That would be pretty high. I would really recommend you at least go to the 50% level, and that's at right now. If it were to get up to 360, we can say $300 is probably where you want to get your entry in. So anything below $300, I think, is a decent buy price. You can wait for the daily to touch the 13 EMA is another way if you're interested in buying here on the cash spot market to take advantage of Ethereum's bull run. Alrighty. Now let's head over to gold in the market. Before we head over to gold, actually, let's go to the dollar index, or no, the dominance. Actually, the dominance is pretty good. The Bitcoin dominance. Well, you can see we're bouncing here, right? And let me just zoom in a little bit. There we go. We're bouncing off of this resistance level, assuming we forget that wick, and we could go. We're going to come back at least to this green line, which is a 94 percentile level. 64 percentile level before we actually roll over and go lower. That means that the altcoins in general are going to take a bath for a little while. They're going to take a back seat to Bitcoin for a little stint. But we'll see how far this thing goes. Can it go higher? Yes, it can. Yes, it can. We can go all the way up to this trend line, which is the 67 percentile level. But we will see what Bitcoin wants to do and what the altcoins want to do, because the altcoins could start to rally with Bitcoin, and then this pushes. And then once this pushes up, once it gets up to the green line, even though Bitcoin's rising, they rally against Bitcoin harder, and then pushing this down. Okay, the dollar index and the DXY. The dollar index is like, falling out of bed, just dying against other currencies. This is, again, against other currencies, not against real goods. Now, this is looking at this chart. I want you to understand what you're looking at when you're looking at this chart, right? Because you could look at this chart and misinterpret it. Right? Pretend that we all jumped out of an airplane without a parachute, right? And all of a sudden, the USD guy with the USD shirt decided to push straight down and fall further, and we started to expand our legs and our bodies, and in order to break ourselves a little bit. So we're going, well, look at that idiot. He's going down and he's going to crash and die. But in the reality of things, right? In the reality of things, right? We are all going to crash and die, right? Because we all don't have parachutes. And so when you see the US dollar index dropping, right? You're not seeing the reality of the true reality of the situation. All you're seeing is that everybody else has decided to put on the brakes a little bit, whilst the U.S. dollar has gone full bore. Right? That's all. That's all you're seeing on the printing press. And so this can be misleading, and unfortunately. There's two kinds of things you have to understand when it comes to markets. There is basically the reality, which nobody sees, most people don't see, and perception of people's realities, which you have to understand is different, completely different from the reality of the situation. So, what is the perception, right, when the dollar index is going down? Well, that means to most people in the traders and the commodities pits, that, hey, you know what? That means commodities and stuff like that have to go up. And so they they push the prices of commodities and so forth higher. But the equal and opposite reaction is true, unfortunately. So you can bet your bottom dollar, you can bet your top dollar, that the U.S. government and the military, right? Since they all rely on the dollar, and they understand the reality of the situation. Right? You can bet that they've got some sort of plan to crush some sort of economy secretly, or overtly or covertly. So they've got spies. They don't have spies in, and probably they don't have as many spies and stuff like that in China and Russia anymore. But they have them in Europe, the next big dog in the situation, and they're going to crush the euro, slap it down. They're probably going to take down the yen as well, because that's what I do. That's what I do, right? I'd come up with some way to crush those currencies, because everybody's perception right now is to run to the dollar, and if they run to the dollar and push the U.S. dollar index up after they crush those other currencies, because that's their last play at this point. That's their last play. That's the Hail Mary for them, right? And they're gonna crush those currencies some way, maybe around the 78.6 right here, at the 91 level, or the 61.8. I think they're probably gonna wait and wait for the absolute last possible minute before they actually do anything. So we've got a little bit of time. So I think all of August and sometime in September is when they will probably pull the trigger on this, whatever plan they've got. Their last minute. This is their long ball, basically. Their Hail Mary pass to keep the dollar alive is coming. So keep that in the back of your mind. They have to do something, or else the bottom's going to drop from this thing, and it's going to take gold, because you know what the saying is here, right? Now that we're on to gold, show me a new high, and I'll show you buy.
I was just about to say it.
What?
I was just about to say it.
Yeah. And there's no stopping this, right? There's just this canary in the coal mine. It just died, right? It krilled over and croaked. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to canary in the coal mine, I'm not saying that you should go buy this here. I'm not saying that, right? Just so you know, right? Just keep in mind, right? We've got 1, 2, 3 body sticks outside the Bollinger Band, and that is rarity in the regular markets, extreme rarity, even in the Karmic pits. That's an extreme situation here. So I would wait for some sort of sideways consolidation, some sort of scary dump, right? If you want to get in on this gold before it actually goes parabolic. This thing is going parabolic, probably no matter what they do, because there will be some sort of dump, of course, whatever they do. But again, it's only just to spook the market and to get people to go the wrong direction for the short amount of time that they can keep this thing going, right? So look for pullbacks. This thing's going a lot higher. We're going in the next month or so, and hopefully it consolidates sideways, and not a very deep pullback, but again, just look for some sort of entry that's not way up here. All right, silver. Again, I'm going to reiterate that if we get to $100 silver by the end of this year, I'm calling hyperinflation. Another thing that I will call hyperinflation is if we get to if the Big Mac index triples in price, right, before the end of the year, I will from year to year over year, meaning from the start of this year to the end of this, before the end of this year, if we notice any of those two things, hyperinflation. That's hyperinflation. Just okay. Don't give me this nonsense, okay? There is not hyperinflation, all right? Because I'm not hearing it. Right? And the probability of that, I'm going to show you guys a channel that you should check out, which I started watching when the COVID-19 this pandemic broke out, I started watching this channel called let's see here. It was there's the Ice Age Farmer. Let's see here. Where is he? Ice Age Farmer. There's Silver Ice Age Farmer. Where is Ice Age Farmer? Yeah, he. There we go. Right. This guy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
right
from Bloomberg, pantry buying is so.
This guy, you need to watch this guy and watch this. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. And he, it's a little bit of fair porn, right? So you know, take it with a grain of salt. Don't go too buck wild with the everything with your panic buying on the markets. I'm gonna paste this video in. Right? Don't go too insane, but slowly prepare yourself. Right? Just go. I think I might want to get a couple canned goods and get stuff that can prepare me for just in case things get really out of hand. Right? In the future. So. That is what's coming, because I mean they're dumping food, they're destroying a lot of food, they're destroying a lot of chicken, a lot of beef, a lot of pork, and this guy covers this in this video. And so you might want to prepare for something interesting with the prices of food coming down in the next the last half of this year or in the last quarter. So prepare yourselves. It's going to be a bumpy ride. And I say bumpy because that means nothing goes up in a straight line. This is not going to go straight to $100 non-stop. Not going to happen. This is not going to $10,000 straight up non-stop. Not going to happen. It's going to get there, but not in a straight line. All right, with that said, Inti, let's get on to the question and answers of the day before I have to call it a day, because I just realized the time. I've been blathering on for quite some time.
Excellent. So we have a question from Kev Allen. Kev Allen asks, why, in your opinion, has Bitcoin moved so little in the past months, even though we are in the exact scenario in which it should be going sky high?
Well, again, I'm going to have to reiterate that nothing goes up in a straight line. Bitcoin needed a time to consolidate, time to rest, and before it actually starts its big parabolic move, right? And people build up their positions over that time. They try to spook the market so that they can get people to weak hands to get out and move the. In order for them to get cheap bitcoins, right? And that's how the market works. We see these ups and downs, and eventually, Bitcoin will do some sort of oh my God, this is not happening kind of move. This is not happening, right? Where everyone points to it and say this is no, this is a bubble. This can't go on like this. That's when you'll be well, that's normal, but it's not normal, dude. That's not normal. That's the out of whack situation that's caused by our money printing, and it always takes time, right? I mean, nothing comes right away like that. For example, let's just say if the United States government were to print $1 million and give it to every single solitary American, their immediate reaction is everything should go immediately higher, and that will not be the case. That will not be the case. At first, it might just pop a little bit, and then it will start to dump down, and you'll be like, what the hell? Everybody has $1 million. There's no way. There's no way. Right? And the problem is, right, not everybody will be spending it. A lot of people will be saving it and holding it. And then it's only when there's a slow march up higher, and then people realize what's going on, that it's all of a sudden comes in as a flood into the market and just destroys the currency. And effectively, that's what we're going to see right now. Is that we're going to see it go slowly, and then all of a sudden, like a flood, people are just going to flood into Bitcoin, gold, silver, and everything, and it's just going to go. Oh my God! You're just going to be like, oh my God, no, this is not happening. This is not happening. Right? And yeah, and you know what? This is the biggest wealth transfer in the history of mankind that's about to occur, because never in the history of mankind, never has the whole world, everyone on the planet, been on a fiat currency. Every single country. Never. Never. So the results of that is going to be the biggest, the most absolute, colossal wealth transfer in the history of mankind, meaning that wealth will be transferred from other assets. I mean, it's not being destroyed, it's just being transferred from other assets to gold, to silver, to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, and to all the other cryptocurrencies in a massive, scary, oh my God, this is not happening, blow off. All right. Next question.
Next question. So this is a super chat from Crypto Dracula, and he says, "Coffee on me. Thank you, Davinci, for your work. Karmic regards from Bucharest, Romania. Thank you very much, sir, for your donation."
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Next question.
Next question. This is a question I promised to ask Lowy, and this gentleman or miss asked, what about Unicrypt? They are going to block all the token scams that are on Uniswap?
UNC is going to block all the token scams on Uniswap?
Yes, that's what he or she is asking.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how you're going to do that, because it's a decentralized system, and you can't block scams, people from actually using a decentralized systems in an inappropriate way, or else it's not decentralized, right? So once they institute that, right, it becomes non-decentralized, if they can pull that off, right? So that would be question, is like, how are they going to pull that off? And then if they say that they can, then then you have to call that non-decentralized, right? And I haven't looked at the source code of Uniswap. I haven't looked at the how it works, but everybody's telling me it's decentralized. So if it is truly decentralized, there's no way for them to pull this off unless, they create a new contract, Uniswap contract, that allows them to put in a list of bad actors into the contract. And then it becomes like, it's probably still decentralized. You still count it as decentralized, but still controlled decentralized, right? So that means, it's not as good as it could be, right? And somebody else will produce something else, right? They will go, okay, yeah, you want to do that? All right, I'll copy the source code and take out that ability to prevent people to make trades like that, to make trades to scams. Because once you put the camel's nose under a tent and you say, well, I'm going to control what you can do and what you can't do, that means the governments can do that, right? And they can tell you what to do. So that's not going to, and people are going to say, no, that's a bad idea, and then create systems that don't allow that. So that's my take on that. All right, next question.
All right. So this one is from a gentleman or a miss called EOS, and he or she asked, everyone thinks USD is going to collapse straight away like Peter Shift. However, I'm more on the side of the dollar milkshake theory by Brett Johnson. What do you think of this theory?
Well, I see. Here's what the theory. Let's go over the theory for a second. What he's saying is that the dollar milkshake theory is saying that there's a lot of people who need dollars, right? Because they've lent out dollars, right? And then now, now they're trying to get those dollars back, right? And they can't, and because a lot of people are like what's it called, are basically defaulting, right? And so they have obligations that need to be paid in dollars after the default, and so requiring a lot of more people to actually to require more dollars, right? And so I really think the problem with that, right, is that the majority of money, dollars, basically, that is loaned is created out of nothing. So that effectively, right, what that means is I'm a bank, a foreign bank, and I lend you dollars, right? Thanks to the Federal Reserve allowing me to do loans in dollars, right? And I lend you dollars in a foreign country, right? And then you promise to pay me back dollars, right? And I have to make sure that that you pay me back, right? So I can distinguish those dollars once you do pay me back. And if I don't, I have to liquidate other assets or liquidate your assets in order to cover the loans, right? And so what tends to happen is that you do need dollars, right? For example, the bank needs dollars because it goes and okay, well, I'm going to sell my assets, right? And oh my God, well, I got to sell the assets, and maybe I have to sell them in yen, maybe I have to sell them in euros, and then go convert them to the dollars, and that drives the value of the dollar higher, right? But what's happening now is everybody's unwinding that trade, and that trade is unwound. Now that trade is finally unwound, right? And those events have already been established. Like, for example, the Federal Reserve just said, no, hold on here. You're gonna crash things here, right? You selling all these assets in the market. We're gonna help you out here, right? Because the saying, when you borrow $1 million and you can't pay, you got a problem. But when you borrow billions of dollars and you can't pay, the bank's got a problem. And when everybody's borrowing trillions of dollars and they all can't pay, well, the Federal Reserve has a problem. So that's the situation, right? So what the whole world has done is just drag this Federal Reserve into this Ponzi scheme of debt, right? On the layers and layers and layers of debt, right? So basically, the Federal Reserve has no choice but to bail out all the banking systems, all the banks outside of the United States, or risk the dollar being even stronger, causing the debt to go the debt to actually to have more value, and also the asset prices to drop, which would be a good thing, obviously, for people who hold dollars, right? but a bad thing for debtors, right? And people, it would be create what's it called, a spiral, a dynamic, a sustainable dynamic where the dollar would actually implode, right? Because what would happen is, as more and more people default, because I'm selling these assets and the price drops, and then somebody else needs to sell those assets and the price drops, and then so forth. What happens is that the debt will start to collapse, because wait a second, all these defaults will start to occur, and which will create more selling pressure of other assets, and to the point where all the dollars in the world would disappear. Because there's more debt than there is currency, right? And so, yeah, Not going to happen. The Federal Reserve is not going to let that happen, and that's why they've gone pedal to the metal, full bore on the printing press. Hey, they're like Federal Reserve stands ready to print money without limit, and that's what Greenspan said. And yeah, I see that the milkshake theory has flaws in it, in the sense that it's not counting the fact that the Federal Reserve, central banks around the world, have come to the realization that they are now the person who has to, who are like, yeah, I've got a problem now because those people over there went too far into debt. The banking system, the whole banking system went too far into debt. Now I've got a problem. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. So, yeah. There. So I don't see any way out of it other than to print. Unless, I mean, yeah, just like I can't imagine them going, yeah, we're gonna be honest here and let everybody default, because in reality, what would happen is every single bank will go under, every single one, and the only thing that would have value is paper money, and that's it, because you see that paper money is outside of the system, and what happens is because everything like collapsed into itself, right? All the different digital money will disappear. There would be no digital money unless you're at a bank that happens to have like 100% reserves, right? The digital reserves. And even that would get drained, right? Because as people in that bank have to pay for other assets, they would suck the money out of that bank to pay other assets, pay for other losses elsewhere. And so, yeah, you'd see the dollar and all currencies just go hugely up in value. If, like, I'm trying to think, would they do that? Would they really do that? It's possible. It's not like they don't have any choice. It's just that means that anybody with bonds, with dollars in their bank account, they'd get it wiped out completely. No, I don't see it happening. Just don't see it. All right, next question.
That was one hell of an answer. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have a super chat from Sebastian Loaiza.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is kind of hard. He says, Thank you, Davinci, for everything you do. Are you still considering on shorting in on the on the number of the evil, 666, when you mentioned that level?
Shorting Bitcoin to the 9666 level? No, I'm not interested in shorting Bitcoin. I'm not getting in front of this train. I already did it once. I was thinking about.
Was it on Bitcoin or Ethereum?
I was thinking about doing it on. No, it was on Bitcoin. I was looking at the possibility of shorting this thing, and I was just like, yeah, no, yeah, no. So I did have a short that got wiped on Ethereum, right? But yeah, Ethereum is got some more legs, and let's see here. Yeah, Ethereum's got more legs, but it's almost out of steam, right? It's probably going to push a little bit higher today before it rolls over and dies. So look for something on a higher time scale for like a higher price. I don't know how high, but there is going to be a higher price before it actually rolls over and says, hey, you know what? That's it. I'm done. Like dinner. Could roll over here just as easily, but most likely we have to have another blow off top. Oops, let me just go to the actual daily, because of that trend line is just a little bit higher, and I'm thinking don't know how high this blow off top is going to be, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have one last Hurrah! Right? Because look at this volume. This volume is just insane in the membrane. Right? All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna one last question, and then I'm gonna call it a day.
One last question. By the way, thank you very much, Sebastian, for your donation. So, are you in the mood for a normal question, an off-topic question, or an altcoin request?
Off-topic question.
Off-topic question. So, the off-topic question of today is from Daniel Silva. Asks, hi Davinci, how do you met Chris? And since when you are friends? Greeting from Taiwan, buddy. I mean, crypto, of course.
Where did I meet Chris from Crypto? Well, we met last, in what was it, 2018, December 2018. After basically I got extremely popular because of some post, Reddit post, and everybody wanted to interview me. And so Chris did an interview with me, and then we started doing a lot more interviews over and over again. And we seem to have a good dynamic. We do very well together when everybody loves watching our shows. So, and I enjoy chatting with Chris and getting his opinion, because his opinion is very, very different from mine, and I get a different perspective on things. So I'm glad to have him in my corner and learn from him, and he learns from me, and we both get a lot out of it. Another good person to check out is Carl. Carl is the most hardest working person I've ever met in my entire life. I swear to God. I swear to God. You will never meet anyone more dedicated and more, focused than that man. And you could I would definitely follow that kid, right? I know he's just a smart young kid, but man, when he focuses on something, it's like a laser beam, and he cuts through it like it isn't there. So you could learn a lot from that kid as well. So those are definitely two people you want to have in your corner, and I suggest you subscribe to their channels and learn from those two guys. They might be young, right? But they have a lot of things to offer, and you can learn a lot, because you know what? I'm a student of the market. I'm a student of the world. I know that I don't know everything, and no one's born with knowledge. Everybody grows and learns as they grow. And I'm willing to find knowledge wherever it may lay, and I'm not afraid to look to the younger generation to get it, right? Because hey, you know what? They probably looked and read the different things than I have, and gotten some insight that I may have missed along the way. All right, well, thank you for that question. Thank you everyone for watching today's live stream. We started a little bit late, but it was fun. It went longer than I actually wanted it to go, because I have a doctor's appointment, and so I have to go and run to that. And if you haven't seen the videos popping up, oh, by the way, if you're a dollar bug and you like the dollar, US dollar, right? I have a video that should be popping up here. Well, I think it's here. It should be popping up right about here. You have to check that video out. Not a lot of people have seen it. It will explain a lot of why I always I use the Bitcoin as my base currency. And you'll be like, oh my God, I'm going to just start using the Bitcoin as my base currency. So check that video out, and you'll be quite surprised and quite happy. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye now.